Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second match of the upper bracket for Season 1 Dominion's 4 AI Battles. This is the semifinals match, the second one. Ermor versus Pangaea, Osiris versus Chernunos, or however you pronounce that. Hopefully I have everything set up. It looks like I have Yeast, or however you pronounce this. This is an underwater faction, so that definitely might come into play. So let us host and see what these factions are doing. If I were to pick a favorite here, I would definitely be picking Ermor. Ermor is just so strong. Like, think Asphodel in that previous match and multiply it by like 2. Sure, the resource gain of other faction being boosted might be enough to counteract the effect of Ermor, because they get zero benefit, absolutely zero benefit from increased production in gold. Because I guess they get some benefit from gold because they can reinforce provinces, but the AI doesn't do that. Let's take a look at the stats of Osiris here. He has got 10 fire magic and 9 death magic, and then a bunch of other things like reanimate bonus, which death magic will allow him to possibly reanimate some pretty strong undead. He also comes with 2 dust warriors rather, which allows him to have some offensive battle on the field while casting spells, which is pretty good for him. Other than that, his Dominion is all negatives, barring the magical nature of his Dominion. And it's only like 3, I believe. I think his Dominion is 3 or 4. So I guess that kind of counteracts the thing as well. But like, Ermor gets benefits from all of this stuff, whereas other factions pretty much, I didn't actually want to see what Yeast is doing. So my god's name is Minos, I guess. Let's end my turn. Let's check out what Pangaea is doing. Pangaea is doing nothing, other than maybe recruiting one tier 2-ish, like 1.5 tier horseman unit with the barding and whatnot. And Ermor is not moving out. Maybe we have another one of these matches where we've been getting a lot of those recently. I'm honestly surprised. Like, the independents must be incredibly strong. Just, like, Ermor should be able to move out. Both of these factions should have been able to move out. And indeed, Pangaea's being the first one to move out. Is Pangaea going to have another one of these quick sweeps where they just wipe the floor with the opposing faction because they keep expanding aggressively and quickly? That's what they did against Viscia. They very well might do it here as well. I mean, as I said, like, there's 2 key factors of beating Ermor: having a lot of priests and preventing them from taking territories. So as long as Pangaea can continue to get more territories than Ermor, and that will allow them to get more units possibly than Ermor, because Ermor can't recruit any units to begin with, it will definitely go to the advantage of Pangaea. But as I said, this is the first match Ermor is going to have against the nation with the bonus production and gold given to both factions. Ermor does get the bonuses, but they can't produce units normally. They have to rely on summons, just by random chance, based on the undead, the corpses that they have being animated to the undead. But even then, like, Ermor's legionnaires that are long dead are really strong. These special horsemen, the like tier 1.5 undead horsemen, are really strong. But as you can see, banishment does take them out. But did you see how many troops has died in like one assault by those javelins? Feels so good. Javelins too strong. Javelins overpowered. But Ermor has moved out. I'm actually gonna go to my turn to see my province. My province is actually right by Pangaea. Pangaea could take me out possibly. They would need to get a neutral territory with Ichthyids or Shamblers or something. Or use some spell or something, like some way to get water breathing on their normal units to assault me. But they're right next to me. Ermor, I was gonna say that Ermor has a potential advantage of taking me out simply because, oh, he's reviving archbishops. That's good. But Ermor has a chance of straight up just killing me because they have poor amphibians on all of their troops, barring the ghouls here. The ghouls don't get poor amphibian, but all the skeletons do. The soulless do as well. Yeah, this is a guaranteed win. These Bakemono have no chance. 0 chance. Alright, let's take a look. I mean, we might have like 2 aggressive AIs. Hopefully we stop getting the passive AIs. Like the defensive AI, I think is definitely the worst ones. Like the personality. 'Cause both factions like refuse to attack if that's the case. If one of them's the aggressor, then the other one will be forced into a position to make counterattacks, and I think that's where it's at. Damn harpies! Oh, that's the only negative I have to say about Pangaea. Is that if they buy harpies, that could be the end of it. But actually, the Minotaur Lords, these are tier 2 Minotaur Lords, they were breaking as you saw. However, Berserker units do not break, they just consume extra fatigue per turn, and they actually hit harder. So I'm pretty sure that's what won them the fight, the ability for the Minotaur Lords to go Berserk. So that was a good fight by them, very close against neutrals. But Pangaea is moving out. They're expanding aggressively, and they can see my home province. This is actually, like, so far it's an interesting set of turns. We're not having potatoes just yet. Ermor is taking potentially two provinces. I don't see why they wouldn't at this point. Ermor is just so fucking strong. Especially early game when you get, like, the free set of Legionnaires. Like, you get a decent sized number of Legionnaires that you can just throw into the field. And they are routed. I mean, you guys would probably run too. I would run. If I saw a fucking force of like 50 to 60 reanimated Roman soldiers throwing spears at me, and then like having like hearing like noise every time they're buffed with unholy power, I mean, I would shit my pants. No lie. Like, I don't know why these guys they're gonna break for sure. I mean, I would be running at this point. Being completely surrounded by undead. Too spooky for me. So, not surprisingly, they got both of those territories. There is a disadvantage, though, for Ermor. If they don't have units stationed in every province, their high unrest is going to cause the neutrals to assault them a lot. And if they don't obviously have any units stationed there, the normal defenses of what the AI invests in is definitely not enough to hold back. So they'll lose the territory if they don't have someone stationed there. Which it shouldn't be an issue, even if they're an aggressive AI, is because they just get so many commanding units. So like they get like Mound Kings and all these other commanding units that if the AI is being efficient, which they should be, they'll be putting all their units into people if they have the ability to. So they should be defensive units in pretty much almost every province, mid-game or late game for sure, if not mid-game. All right. I think we might have an assault by... Oh, never mind. I was concerned. Pangaea was making the attack here. Whenever I see barbarians, I get concerned because they are really fucking strong. You see, like, it does 40 damage on one of those guys. Hit for 40 damage. I think it may have been the commander unit. But they hit so fucking hard. I mean, they die in one hit, so it kind of balances out here. But these berserkers, these barbarians, they just hit so freaking hard. Alright, so they lost one of the mercenary groups that they had. I'm surprised Pangaea hasn't moved out. They have a force here that I would assume they should have like made an assault. Like this is like maybe I'm gonna guess. Let me guess. 48 units. Oh, 50. Oh man, I was guessing. I was too off. I was too off. But now their front line is incredibly weak. And Ermor is just gonna keep pushing. It's like the undead fortitude. It's just too much. Like they hardly lose any units, and like they can easily be reinforced by some like Mound King coming from home base with a huge force of undead because all of their clerics are gonna be resurrecting more undead. Not surprisingly, the Jaguar Warriors had no chance in hell of surviving that encounter. But this is a slightly less strong... Are these lictors? Okay, so they have 3 lictors. One took some major damage there. So these guys right here, if they get blessed, which they did, they actually get the, obviously because they're sacred, they get the buffs of Osiris, which is attack rating because of fire, undying because of death magic. But since they're both level 9 or higher, they get fire weapons, which do extra fire damage, and they're effective against magical beings, which is good, as well as death weapons, which cause like diseases and afflictions on enemy units. So even if the Lictor dies, it's gonna cause irreparable damage against whatever it's attacking if it doesn't straight up kill it. So I think that's pretty cool. I like death weapons a lot. Maybe I overvalue them, but I like pretty much every time I play Ermor, like I get at least 10 death magic because you have all those free points because of your empire. And maybe I play them wrong. Maybe you're not supposed to go so far into these negatives. But I don't know, every time I play Ermor and use these like negatives, these scrubby strats, like I win against the computer. So clearly it must be right to some degree. Maybe it's a crutch, who knows. Protection of the Sepulchre. Wolf Tribe is gonna be no problem at all for the cavalry. Oh, the Ermor. Ermor, I think, is at this point has surpassed Pangaea. Pangaea hasn't been making a whole lot of moves, and Ermor has been taking 1 to 2 provinces a turn. I think at this point, I think Pangaea has straight up lost. I know it's really early to call, but as you saw in the last game, you never really know when my kingdom's gonna go down. And while Pangaea has a higher dominion growth than Ermor, they're also next to my province by unlucky chance. So they're getting negative dominion from my province right here. This is not good for them. They started off so strong, but they just lost all their steam. And then look at this, 4 provinces in a turn by Ermor. It looks like I won't be surprised to see Ermor to win this upper bracket. They might straight up win the tournament. If you see my bracket, like I have Ermor's rigged written on it, because I'm pretty sure that is my main bet of who's gonna win this entire series. And I've already stated that if they win, I might have to nerf the strength of their dominion. Like maybe make it so that their turmoil is not as high, so they don't get as many corpses per turn, or do something to nerf them. Because I want them to be strong. Don't get me wrong. I want them to be a powerhouse because Ermor should be a powerhouse. There's undead tides of units, but it shouldn't be to the point where like any other faction, even with a 50% bonus to gold and resource, even with that, if they can't win, then they need to be tuned down a little bit. Maybe make their god, I don't know, maybe not have like death magic 10 or fire magic 9. But we'll see. Maybe they won't win. I mean, I said only if they win the entire tournament, I will consider nerfing them to a level that's maybe acceptable. And if I do nerf them too hard, then maybe season 3, I will bring back Osiris to shit on everyone. Lictor's too strong, man. The Lictor only took 1 damage from that the militia dude. 4 attacks in 1 turn. And like, I don't see why they wouldn't take all the provinces they're attacking. At this point, it's not looking good for them. Though, you know, it might still go to Pangaea because Pangaea does have the stronger dominion. So like they continue to push out slow and steady, make some front line, put churches on it, and have their priests preach. I think they still might win because it's almost a guarantee that I'm gonna lose my province at some point. If it's either assaulted by, I mean, if Ermor assaults it, then they're gonna win, like 100%, because that's how the system works. But I mean, Pangaea has some outs; they can still win here. I don't want to write them out completely, but four successful assaults in 1 turn from Ermor is just you can't overlook that. That is incredible swing, military growth for Ermor. those are 4 additional provinces that are going to be producing undead units every turn. You don't even need sacred units to summon undead. You can just have it happen every turn just by having those provinces. I mean, they're actually losing some of these long dead horsemen. They lost all of their long dead horsemen, but that's the commander unit. That's gonna break some of these, I feel. Oh, actually, no, that wasn't. I don't know who the hell that was. It looked like it was a commander unit. All that cheering of undead clattering. But man, they are painting the map purple. Then they're actually choking out Pangaea here. Pangaea can't make any moves now, really. They have to basically go into the water. And Pangaea doesn't even have all the territories on their side of the line. Ermor is making some very good plays. I have to applaud. I have to recognize this. Like, they effectively cut off the expansion of Pangaea. To some extent. I mean, obviously Pangaea probably has a lot of forces on back here somewhere. Then they could easily break through these undefended territories. But these territories are going to be producing units. So even if they take one, the other ones are going to be getting units, and Ermor is going to push out. Like, Ermor doesn't have a whole lot of units on the field right now, but they have all of these territories. This investment for them is so fucking strong. All right, so potential two territories of growth. Pangaea takes this one because we were spoiled by the map. Maybe I shouldn't say that for people that are not paying attention to the map when we see it, but we already know that Pangaea takes this battle. And you can tell they take it. With this many Minotaurs and War Minotaurs and Tier 2 Centaurs. Like, that was a whole lot of knights, though. That was a lot of knights. It's not surprising why that force of 50 commanded by that satyr a couple turns ago didn't want to take that assault, because it would have been suicide. This is a really weak assault. Like, a really weak assault. 2 Tier 2 Centaurs and a bunch of Satyrs. Satyrs do have the Javelins, and they have Berserker, and they're like one of the better fodder units in this game. And despite them getting routed, the Tier 2 Centaurs killed the enemy lord, so that was an instant victory for them. So that's why they have that territory as well. I mean, let's see what's here. What can they recruit? They can recruit longbowmen. Can't actually check because they don't have that territory. Do they have any aquatic territory units? Oh, wait, that's just Pangaea itself. I should have obviously realized by the amount of the structures there, but it doesn't. Shambler Reef. Okay, should just be reading this. So they have a Shambler Reef in this territory. This might allow them to win. Let's see. Is there any mercenaries that are aquatic? We don't have any aquatic mercenaries, so it looks like Pangaea is going to be unable to take Ys here, but they can go across this river to take this neutral territory. I think they have enough units to do so. There's a lot of events going on here, and we have an uprising event, as I was talking about a couple turns ago. And Ermor is going to be taking this independent territory right at the border of Pangaea. I'm going to try not to look at the score graphs. Or if I do look at the score graphs, I'm going to try to not look at the Dominion one. So just in case we get a surprise uprising by neutrals, we don't necessarily know who's won until I check. Though I think we can it would be safe to assume that Ermor probably is in the winning position. But Pangaea is going after the same territory that Ermor attacked. They both coveted this land at the same time. So we're gonna actually have a big battle between the two forces here. I'm gonna give it to Pangaea. They're losing some of these tier 1 centaurs here that scream like women, because I guess they are women. They are. I just realized that they have boobs. I didn't notice that before. Did they lose all their minotaurs? I could have sworn they had a few, and they don't have any left. Okay, so this is good for Pangaea. They just need to take this advantage and use it as a pivot point for their assault into Ermor lands. Because as you saw, the advance, there wasn't a whole lot of units left there. There wasn't units left there at all. And typically these AIs only like put enough gold for like 4 to 10 defense units in its province at once. Maybe they put more with the bonus gold. I'm not too sure. I haven't actually checked that out yet. But we shall see, as I think Pangaea needs to know that they're in a position that they need to push. And if they don't push, they will lose. A bunch of barbarians. Actually, it looks like they're actually investing more into defense, which is actually nice to see. They're using the resources. This is a larger force than we typically see on the defensive side of a nation. So let's actually check that out. No, I guess they just have unit station here. So I stand corrected. We have a bunch of just +3, +4. Yeah, there's like no one here. Pangaea can indeed push out here. With this force to here, I'm pretty sure they have something here that they can go here. They obviously have forces here. But they didn't. They decided not to. They decided just to hold back, and I guess I mean, we already saw this fight. Never mind. We haven't ended the turn yet. Are they gonna push out? No, they are not pushing out. They are not pushing out against the forces of Ermor. They're gonna maybe potentially push out against neutral territories, but they don't have a whole lot of options here. They can cross the frozen rivers to that one neutral that is across that city province. But there isn't a whole lot of options. We can see if they're building shamblers. If they're building shamblers, then they're obviously coveting the water territories. And actually, I don't know. Are shamblers like one resource, but like really gold dependent? If that's the case, Pangaea could be pumping those guys out every turn. Let's go actually check that out. I'm actually really curious. So let's see what Pangaea does. They actually do nothing. We have a stale turn. Building a fortress, and they're not building any shamblers. And they are indeed one resource, 20 gold. So they could build a fuck ton of shamblers, but they're not doing it. I guess they're just not valuing the ability to go underwater and take all of these territories. And I guess they missed their timing push to go across the river here. And still not pushing Ermor. I think they have this, but you know, it's always difficult to say when you see such a small force by both sides. Neutral archers can do work. I mean, they're not accurate. But see that like commander unit right there? Like one arrow will kill them, and that will rout the entire undead forces. We gotta respect archers. They can really change the flow of a battle. Pangaea's not doing anything. But Churnunos is finally up. We can check out his stats. So this is a good old Churn. He gives like +6 max HP to his sacred troops because of his nature magic. And he's pretty like a war-based god. If he fields, he gets a bunch of units. As you can see, he has 1d6 boars, 2d6 wolves, 3d6 deers every battle. Just like he just comes into the battle with all those units. So that's very good for him. But Pangaea is like gotta have the defensive trait because they're not pushing into Ermor. Like, I understand they don't know how many units are here. They want to make sure they can take the territory. But Jesus fucking Christ, how many units do you have here? 40, another 40, another 40. They have like 290 units. I mean 190, not 200. Whoops. They're making an attack! Finally! This is such overkill. They have a bunch of sacred units. This is way overkill. Like, I don't understand. Like, I think they maybe lost one unit. We can look at the statistics. think any losses they took were because of friendly fire. Oh, I didn't. I wanted to click this. They lost 2 units. Ermor didn't lose any because they were all just normal militia for the defensive force. They lost the elephant corpse. That's disappointing for them. But Pangaea needs to get their butt into high gear. They need to hightail it and take some territories. Because if they don't, this match could end at any moment. It really could. It's the chaos of this entire tournament. I love it. It can kind of lead to some anticlimactic fights. But like if they're in a situation where they are in the lead with Dominion, they're clearly winning. And like I haven't seen any real upsets in the Dominion scale where someone who's been losing every battle is still really winning with Dominion. Every match that is won based on like a neutral factor or something of that matter really has been like one faction been in the lead the entire time. We've had some like, I guess we have had maybe some quasi upsets military wise where like their enemy force took me out of the game. Kind of like the Pangaea match, but the Pangaea match isn't really a match. I deleted my fort, and that was when I was still doing the disciple game mode. But we're not doing disciple game mode anymore because we found out how to watch computer turns. Oh man, I hope you guys are enjoying this. Like I have like 115 subs on YouTube. And like none of these videos get attention. I actually lost, I think, like 7 subscribers since I started uploading these videos to YouTube. So clearly it's not what my old subs liked. I don't know. I know that little Valera that came to the stream a couple days ago. I know he said he liked it. I'm assuming it's a dude. Maybe I should just call him the day. They liked it because they talked about it. So like, I don't know. I just want to get better at it. I'm enjoying doing this. But like, I just want to build an audience that likes Dominions 4, man. Like, Dominions 4 is so much fun. I've spent so many hours in this game. I just wish more people played it. It's a little expensive for what it is, but I love it. It's worth the money. And with the summer sale coming up, you could probably get it for cheap. I wouldn't be surprised for it to be relatively discounted. But you would have to give Gaiman some of your money. We've already seen this fight, so let's not. All right. What Pangaea needs to do is that they need to take these final neutrals. They need to do that. If they don't do that, any chance of them winning is completely off. I know I didn't want to look at statistics. I want to look at statistics. I don't want to see Dominion, and hopefully I didn't land on Dominion. I didn't. Okay, so we're looking at provinces here. I think that's fine. Let's turn off my color. But as you see, look, Pangaea started so strong, and then they started doing this weird, like no growths out of turns, and it's really put them behind. They're starting to make some comeback, but is it enough is the question. Clearly they have more income. You don't want to hit that one. Let's check army size. You know, I think the buff to the other nations, I think has come into play. Pangaea basically gave up any advantage that they had early game, so the graphs were relatively even, and like with Ermor, it's typically like a linear growth for units because they can't actually just invest some gold into things. So I think the bonuses that I've set up for other nations, I think that's enough of a bonus. Maybe it's not enough, who knows? Maybe I need to make it like 175% to all resources. Ermor going on the attack here. Maybe that's how I like quote unquote nerf the undead factions. But see, like if I do that, like the less strong factions that are undead in later, like if I decide to do late ages or early ages, like there's like the undead ship like race, like undead water spirits, and I don't think they're as strong at all to Ermor. And there's like some other like ghost factions that aren't as strong as Ermor, in my opinion. You know, maybe I played them wrong. Maybe I played against really bad computers. But oh, those freaking javelins are so nice. But I don't know, like I just don't want to give the lesser less effective undead factions, like a death blow that they would never really be able to come back from. It's hard to imagine that Ermor's only got a relatively slight province lead. I mean, it doesn't look like that's a slight province lead, and it's obviously because of the maps, like mirroring, not mirroring, but the endless scroll here. So if we cut it off here, I mean, they obviously do have more provinces, but I guess Pangaea has all of these provinces here, and Pangaea's actually been losing provinces to Ermor. If Pangaea takes this territory and puts a fort here, it's going to make it hard for the east and west side of the continent to come by because of the mountain ranges, which might be a really tactical spot for them. But at this point, like, this is late mid-game for this game mode specifically, because the game could end at any moment by the neutrals because it's been going on long enough. So, gotta be careful here. But as I was saying, yeah, like this passageway, it would force Ermor to go completely around in order to get here. But Ermor already has territories here. But this is a very defensive province, only having 3 entrances and cutting off north and south. I actually really like this map generation. I really do. Holy shit, like, I don't know if there's a way for me to like save this map generation. I don't think there is, unfortunately. And we actually have a big turn here. We're not having just like turns where they just send spies and the spies are caught and then the spy is killed in one battle, and that's all the conflict we get. We got some maenads here. Which are those females right here? Like succubuses. Alright, so that was a successful assault, unsurprisingly. There wasn't a whole lot of defense going on here. Ermor is actually in a prime position to take out my territory. And if they do it, and it's not the neutrals, the faction that takes me out wins, despite the Dominion differences. So that's an out that Pangaea could go. They have the goal to afford massing Shamblers from that neutral territory. Shamblers only take 1 resource, and since the neutral provinces don't have the resources and stuff. Oh, goal phallus. Phallus? They have the elephant force, the elephant mercenary force. But that is a fuck ton of sacred units. Yes, they had no fucking chance against that number of like final tier cavalry from Pangaea. So if Pangaea holds, and they're actually pushing into Lys, which is above the phallus state. And there's no reason they don't take this. The ghouls are pretty easy prey, and then jaguars are like nothing. I think jaguars are one of the like least strong neutrals. I mean, that's just my speculation. Oh, is that the Shambler territory? Ah, fuck. This is the Shambler territory, so they don't even have access to that anymore. That's disappointing. They lost the territory. They were building a fort here, and they lost it. But Ermor could take me out literally next turn. We've seen all these battles. We're actually getting magic cast by Chernyanos. I'm surprised, like normally like I've seen Pangaea like fielding their god. Like kind of like how Man fielded Uther in just about every battle they had the chance to. It's a huge fucking turn. Holy shit. So Ermor is on the offensive only on 1 of these battles. So this is what I was talking about. This is what Pangaea needs to be doing. They need to be pushing against Ermor. Ermor can make like sustained pushes. True. In late game, they can have like crazy tides of undead. But if you just make like efficient assaults into their undefended territories, and then like buff that either with defensive strength or build forts, it's hard for them. Are they gonna take this? Maenads are berserking. All of them are berserked. But they're routed. Get out of here, Minotaur! Ah! He made it. Alright, let's see what Pangaea is doing. I think this is the Shambler territory. So they need to take this territory, which there's no reason they don't. And they need to buy a fuck ton of Shamblers and go into the water. They need to do that. And like they're actually moving aggressively to the north. There's a relatively large engagement. There's a bunch of tier 2 and 1.5 cavalry by Pangaea, and they have tier 1 and tier 2 Minotaurs. This is a bunch of trash, so this is almost completely one-sided. Some of the satyrs are dying, which that attrition really starts coming into play here. When we're like winding down. I mean, like, I guess the battles are ramping up, but the match is winding down to the point where it's about to be over, I feel it in my bones. I've already done 23 of these. No, there's no way I've done 23 of these. I'm on match set 23 or 24. I think I've done maybe 13. So like, I don't know. I'm starting to get a feel for how the AI plays to some degree. These troglodytes are doing fucking work against Ermor. Jesus Christ. As I said, that trample is so fucking good. As you can see, I value trample really highly. I value things like javelins very highly. I value cavalry very highly, and oh, we already saw this one. We don't need to see it again. There we go. You can watch this one. So this is Independence attacking Ermor, our Pangaea troops. Like, what are the odds of this? Like, maybe there's just a normal like story event or something that happens that causes this. But I'm pretty sure Pangaea attacked that territory at some point. Maybe their army's defected. Let's see what Pangaea is doing. We saw all these events, summoning some killer mantises. But I don't think killer mantids are that good. And it looks like the Shambler Center actually was taken out in one of the attacks because of the territory swap so many times. So I think this was indeed the territory that Shamblers could be made, but they can't be made anymore. Gorge. What does Gorge do? Is it just a magical site? Nah, no special units. Like, there's not any like aquatic unit summon places here, which is kind of sad. I can see Pangaea moving forward with one of these units. I mean, I hope they move forward with one of these units to take out Ermor here. And I think this Pangaea unit might take either one of these territories because it looks like they're trying to head towards Ermor. Because I do know where Ermor is. It's like what I like to see. They're deltaing. We don't know if they win, but they potentially are taking more territories than Ermor every turn. This is what Pangaea needs to do. Maybe they're Elan-conning it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Come on, then they can potentially do this. I just realized that my like overlay with the odds, it's not really like apparent until season 2, because most of these fights that are at least land nation versus land nation and then water nation versus water nation, the odds are going to be 1-to-1 at this point because I'm not discipling anyone, so no one's getting that bonus. Ermor takes that. Pangaea should, without a doubt, take this province. Without a doubt. But yeah, like, the odds are changing only obviously when you lose. I mean, they're changing when you win. You're getting the additional points to your chances of winning. But, like, the other faction is in the same boat as well. So, like, those odds don't come in until I have, like, a Season 2 where the defeated factions have a chance to come back, or maybe an all-star match. So that wasn't a surprising fight at all. This one, I don't know. Is there any Ermorian forces? Not really, but this isn't a super big assaulting force. I mean, they're clearly gonna win, but any damage that these, like, Bakemono and ghouls, not ghosts, the soulless do, is permanent damage at this point, because reinforcing this unit that's so far away from the main attacking force of Pangaea is going to be unlikely. Because effectively, Pangaea would have to move through multiple territories to get to reinforce this unit. And those are the only 2 attacks. They're like units are starving and dying to disease. Okay, so it's possible that Ermor takes a good turn here and goes 2-1 on territories, but it's also possible that they only go 1. Or they don't take the assault. Okay, so they kill the troglodytes that caused them so much trouble. So it's possible that it's a single territory gain for both factions here if Pangaea can hold here, which they're not. They're not holding this. I feel like I should just quit out of this replay. This is a cruel and unusual punishment to watch the goal phallus. That's probably not how it's pronounced, but I'm gonna call it the goal phallus. Every time I see this randomly generated name, I'm gonna call it that. But it looks like this passageway between the 2 mountain ranges is going the way of Ermor. So Ermor took 2 territories. I don't see why Pangaea doesn't take this one. And they take it as well. So Ermor only gets 1 territory out of that exchange, and they go 1-1 if we only speak about territories controlled by Pangaea and Ermor. Each faction loses 1 territory to one another. And this was already pretty much guaranteed to be in Ermor. It was only that the neutrals took it away from them to begin with. So, I mean, look, how is this pronounced? It's goal, and then it's phallus. It's goal phallus, for fuck's sake. I wonder if this is like, I don't know, the goal part is like maybe Latin or something, or some other language. I wonder what does it mean, like fortress or something. No, that's arcs. That's arc or something. That's arc in Latin. Arcs, A-R-X is fortress. But yeah, goal phallus. I'm gonna fucking bring it up anytime I see it. It's gonna be my meme. Because we've had multiple reoccurrences of the same names for territories, because there's a set string list of them. I suppose I probably could mod it to add additional territory names. I mean, maybe I would do that. And I was actually thinking, maybe I should just make 1 world map, like generate a random map, because you can generate maps and save them. So I was thinking about making 1 world map and then just having every battle take place on it, and the placement of the units would obviously be random. So then it would be like more of like this was a world with these warring factions. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I like thinking of the stories that take place in this. Like maybe like all of these battles are taking place on like different continents on 1 giant world, and they're all happening relatively at the same time. All these different gods are vying to become the Pantocrator. I like to think like this turn was like the exact same outcome that happened last turn. These territories belong to the exact same factions. But I don't know. I like thinking about stuff like that. I like thinking about like this is a complete non sequitur, but you know, you guys are just here watching, just seeing what's happening with these turns. So I feel like I just can talk about anything, seeing how really no one's here to begin with. I think Ermor holds this. I mean, these barbarians are pretty strong, but I like thinking about things like simulation theory. And if you're unfamiliar with simulation theory, I guess the broadest strokes that you can have taking to say that is that we live in a simulation. I mean, I guess if you want to take a slightly less broad stroke approach, it essentially is saying that if it's ever possible to be able to create a truly lifelike simulation, wherein it would be exactly what we're experiencing right now, was what we regard as lifelike, even though it's maybe potentially not. If it's ever possible to create that, how can we be sure that this is not indeed in a simulation? How can we be sure that some like 4-year-old like alien being didn't just create what we're experiencing right now? If it's ever possible, because like if it is indeed ever possible to create such a thing, How can we be sure that we're not part of one? I mean, that's very broad strokes. It really gets into like the string theory and multiverse stuff. But I like to think about stuff like that. Like, and if you guys are not familiar with the simulation theory in terms to the Elder Scrolls Morrowind, and I love myself some Morrowind, you guys should definitely read it up. I don't know what the article is. I think actually we just watched this battle. No, we didn't. Okay, so this is the one we haven't watched. They're more assaulting Pangaea here. This is a decent fight. But I don't know what the article is called, but I think if you just type in simulation theory, Elder Scrolls Morrowind, you'll probably get the guys, I think it's probably a live journal, but it goes into some really cool details about the lore that really makes it seem like Vivek is basically like a player character, not a player character, but like a player that became a god through like console command cheats and stuff like that. I mean, that's also very broad strokes, but I don't know. I mean, that seems like a non sequitur, but I bring it up because like I like to think of like this being like the chance of this exact set of circumstances in the multiverse, or through some person's I don't know, simulation thing, like maybe these exact set of events where these gods are fighting in this exact same tournament type of thing is happening somewhere out there, and the kingdom of Ermor is destroying whatever the name of this world is. They have their undead tides pushing back any other opposition to their claim to become the one true god. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's fun to think about that stuff, and I'll probably bring it up into other streams as well because I don't know. I feel like I repeat myself a lot, and I think the only reason I really do that is because I'm not really interesting at all. But that I don't know. I want other people to potentially hear whatever I'm saying. And since no one's here, you know, it's kind of hard to judge if my ideas are getting out there. And boy, am I getting thirsty. And we've already saw this fight. Talking about the simulation theory has made me so that I'm not paying attention at all to what's going on. But let's get back into the game. I actually don't know if my kingdom is still around. And that reminds me, I have to test to see if the match indeed does end if my neutral territory goes away. But I'm pretty sure when it's just computer versus computer, the game just ends. I definitely give this battle to Pangaea. There's no way they lose this. I think after this turn, I'm going to check to see the military strength of each nation. I think Ermor is actually struggling a lot. The last time I checked, they didn't have a whole lot of units fielded. They had a lot of units in their capital, but they didn't have a lot of units fielded. And I think Pangaea might actually have more units than them. Maybe not at this point, because Ermor is actually kind of taking back some of the territories that the Vanguard force of Pangaea took when it was making the northern expedition. But I am curious, to say the least. This mercenary force is actually putting up quite a defense. More so than I originally thought was going to happen. But they should break. Like now. Yeah, okay. It was a very, very costly attack. I mean, these damn mercenaries are really strong. It's hard to value them because they're not really like shiny. Like, I don't know, like not really apparent all the time where the mercenaries are. And mercenaries are stronger than normal units, so I don't know, like looking at Ermor here. They have like no forces here. They have a very large force defending their capital. They have a extremely large force up in the north. And then they have like two medium-sized forces here. And maybe they beat out an army size now. Barely. They're like, see, this is what I was talking about. This resource gain. Once Pangaea starts taking territories, I think they're like about even at this 150% resource gain. They can keep up with the production. I didn't actually want to look at Dominion. Well, we've been spoiled anyway. Both factions are losing Dominion here. Holy shit. I'm in the runnings. I have more. What? I have more Dominion than Pangaea. Oh, that's funny. Holy shit. Let's turn off my line now. Obviously income, and Pangaea's doing it. They have more territories than Ermor at this point. So they just need to keep fucking pushing. And we're just gonna skip the turn to see, because we already know that they took more territories. We already saw that they took these territories. Now the question is what do they do here? They have a relatively extremely large force here, but they're spending the time to build the fortress. So unfortunately, nothing's going to really happen there. They have no aquatic units. Maybe they have some gear. No, they do not. They don't have any ability to water breathe. I feel like they're going to go head to the west here, and then maybe send this force to the north, because that huge lictor force is going to take these territories and gobble them up next turn. They're just gonna get a huge counterattack by Ermor. World event, Drain and Misfortune. Misfortune, I don't think affects either nation. I mean, maybe Pangaea has luck. I think they do. So the Misfortune affects them. The Drain, I don't know if that affects Pangaea, but it does affect Ermor because that's their only good stat. We don't need to see this. This is a pretty obvious outcome. Who wins that engagement? It was completely one-sided. Alright, so we have a decent force here. This is another really one-sided fight, so we don't need to necessarily watch it. Holy shit. We actually have to watch it. No, never mind. I thought we were on Pangaea. I thought Pangaea lost this for whatever reason. Pangaea won both of those. So I think they're definitely in a strong position. They're going to be able to gobble these two territories up right quick. But Ermor is starting to mobilize. They know, they've realized the shitty position they're in. They can't actually move. I didn't realize that this cave doesn't extend here. So this is an incredibly thick, like hard place to get through. This bottleneck here. Right here is like the true bottleneck. So if Pangaea is able to build a fortress on this point right here, and then send most of their other forces here, they can actually contain Ermor. And I'm still going to say it. Why hasn't Ermor gone into the water at this point? All of their commanding units can go into the water, barring Osiris. But Osiris can always get some magical item that allows him to get water breathing. We already have seen this because it's the same turn. I keep forgetting that's the main issue. But let's see. There's a battle we haven't seen here. This is the Minotaur force. They should take it. Those are Lord of Fire. Or Fire Lord, rather. That's interesting. And a bunch of swordsmen. I mean, it'd kind of be a tough assault, but Pangaea definitely is going to win out here. I feel like they're going to lose maybe a couple of the centaurs. Maybe not the hoplite ones. Wow, I don't think they've lost like any. They lost one, I heard it. When I check the stats, like how many did they lose to this assault? I thought they would lose more, honestly. Once again, don't necessarily listen to anything I say, because it seems like I'm wrong more often than I'm right. Maybe I'll get better at it, or maybe it'll become a meme where like I'll purposely say things that I know are gonna be wrong. But to get to that point, I would have to clearly have a great understanding of the game to purposely make the bad call. Because right now, I'm honestly trying to make predictions and I'm failing more often than I'm right. Yeah, unsurprisingly. Ermor is taking this territory. I mean, Pangaea is moving and they are getting their advantage here. They did lose this territory to neutrals, but I think they just need to work harder. Ermor has such like strong dominion, and my home province can fall at any moment. And like every time I look at this graph, like I clench my butthole because I never know when something's gonna fucking happen. I don't even know if my god is still alive. Very well may not be still alive, but we're not gonna check it. Gotta be surprised. Satyr's so good, man. Satyr's so good. Are these the ones that berserk? Where's my? I can't see my mouse because of the white. These aren't the ones that berserk, but they're still good because I got javelins. Though you lost like 6 or 7 satyrs because of their archers. I hate that so much. the friendly fire. I love it in the game, but I love to hate it as well. Didn't we just watch this? Oh my god. No, we didn't. Okay. That was just undead in that province. It wasn't Ermor, to be specific. This force, you can see, is definitely taking some attrition here. I don't know if this is the one that's starving or dying to disease, but the Minotaur count is going down. Pretty much the 1.5 tier like centaurs are like almost completely gone. The only ones left are the hoplite ones in bronze armor. But unsurprisingly, they were able to take out the mounted archers. I'm surprised Ermor might, like, I don't know what they're thinking here. Like, they're not moving to defend. Pangaea is just gonna keep pushing. Like, I don't doubt, like, the next 2 or 3 turns, both of these are gonna be gone. Which is, okay, hold up. No one's dying, so I wanted to see who was dying from, like, diseases. But unfortunately, I don't think anyone died that turn, so we can't check. Oh, he can't. Oh, he doesn't have the upkeep because he doesn't have the territories. Oh no, Ermor is in a terrible position here. A terrible position. I think they're still winning on Dominion, but the troops are gonna start to leave them because they don't have the upkeep to pay for it. Because they don't have the territories. This Pangaea's like, this is where they need a strike. This is when the iron is hot. The neutrals that Ermor is hiring at this point are gonna start to leave. And they won't be able to afford any more mercenaries because they don't have enough money to support their active troops as it is. I mean, Ermor could have easily won this. You guys saw how many troops they had and how much they were pushing out, but they didn't reinforce their front lines. And that's it. That's why they lost. I mean, they haven't lost yet. They can technically still win if I get taken out by neutrals. I think they definitely have the Dominion because look at all this like white candles that they have. But I don't know. Summoning some ogres, okay. Starving some units here. Look at how many troops Pangaea has. And so they did take this territory. This next turn they will have this one. Do any of these have Shambler Reefs? They have an arena, which gives gold per turn. No Shambler Reefs. And mercenaries, swimming men, which no faction has. Wait, what? What? Why can't they hire them? That's strange. Once I think here they could easily get whoever gets aquatic units, they could easily take me out and just straight up win. Man, this force doesn't have like anything going for it. They might actually lose this. Sure, they have their sacred units here, but never underestimate these horse dudes, these horse archers. I mean, they're gonna get wiped out here and break, and Pangaea's gonna win. But they can do surprisingly high amounts of damage, sustained damage, if given a relatively strong front line. They're losing all their neutrals, and they're scrambling here. Total income of 9, upkeep of 62. So at this point in the game, Ermor usually has the win condition of they have so many territories because they've had constant snowballing. They don't need neutrals anymore at this point because they're getting undead units, which don't have any upkeep to them. Or if they do, I've never noticed it before. I don't think they do. Yeah, undead doesn't have upkeep. These other units do, the neutrals. So at that point, they don't need the neutrals to supplement their forces because they have so many units. But Ermor has been making bad call after bad call, and as such, they're not in a position of ultimate dominance anymore. And the AI on medium is so cowardly unless they know they have an advantage. At this point, Pangaea is going to keep pushing while Ermor just holds back and knows that they need to defend. Ermor's making a proclamation. I guess they had to get a new prophet. Whenever I see these, I get concerned. And they are attacking the... I think this is a fortress here. But I think they will actually make short work with it with the amount of troops they have here. There's a lot of centaurs, and they actually... I think they actually got reinforcements. Because I think this is the normal like force that we've been watching before. They had like gained like I think one Minotaur. Though this is not a good position for them to be in. To lose any units here is not good for them. Even though they're like shitty tier 1 horsemen from neutrals. Like they don't want... Having them just go head on to infantry is not a good place for them to be. But Ermor is actually making their attack to the bottleneck point. I think they feel like they need to at this point because they're gonna lose these mercenary units and they'll have no way of getting them back. So they have to get the value out of them now. So Ermor rather is gonna be taking the bottleneck province. But I don't think it's enough. If we're gonna talk straight military here. Okay, so we have a special event that might not do anything. What is the special event? It is in Ermor. Assassination attempt. Because he's meddling in dark arts. It's the fucking ghost. There's no way this ghost wins. Say that and the ghost fucking wins. That would be fucking hilarious, but the censor here should win. Whoa! Holy shit, it didn't win! This is the first time I've seen an Ermor like censor lose to ghosts. Like we've seen so many. I've seen so fucking many assaults like that with ghosts, and Ermor censors always win. What is going on? And independents are uprising in the territory that is right next to the current assault territory by Pangaea. What is going on here? Like, they won't win, but any damage that these shamblers and... What are these guys? Atlantean infantry. Whatever these Atlantean infantry do and these armored Atlantean infantry do is permanent. Like, they're not going to get those horsemen back. Just making... Like, these independents are making it easier for Pangaea to move up. I'm surprised. I would call this a comeback, because if we look at the score graphs, Pangaea was definitely far, far below Ermor for a lot of this match, despite the really early game push. Man, their income keeps going down because they keep losing territories, and this is siege, so they're not getting them gold from this territory. And let's go over to Pangaea. Nothing really interesting to see what's going on. I still have my territory, so it looks like, I don't know, being an underwater nation is doing me some good. It's doing Pangaea a world of good, because they would have lost if I was like a land nation, I think, at this point. Though we really can't make that call, because if I was a land nation, maybe if I was like this close to Pangaea, Pangaea would have taken me out. So you can't really make those assumptions. A wolf, like, is it a bitch queen? No, this is a werewolf. Why did you make that assault, Pangaea? That was a terrible assault. And they're doing it after maybe like 2 or 3 in-game years of me saying Ermor needs to fucking start taking water territories. They're doing it. Though these mermen are the armored ones. And they do have a holy priest that is vanishing. Though Ermor is still gonna win because they're gonna be routed. I don't know! This is gonna be close! Oh my god, it was so close. That was incredibly close. Half the forces of the independents were routed. Or killed. This is the large assault force, and we don't need to watch this. This is a foregone conclusion. Walls have been damaged in Duoana. So, next turn, maybe they'll be able to siege. I would say, yeah, they're going into the water, but no, it doesn't look like it. That attack is very bad for them. Incredibly bad for them because they lost a large, like 40 or so units that is going to take a few turns to get back. What is this assault? I'm incredibly confused by this assault. Rip. What? I'm trying to see if it was like they were caught by a patrol or something, but no, it looks like that was a legit assault on that province. I don't know what the fuck Pangaea was thinking there. All right, let's see what next turn holds. As you can see, they're starting to lose more and more of those neutrals. They're going for the cave again. Hopefully this time, oh, they got the werewolf back. I don't think this is not gonna work. They're just gonna keep fielding the werewolf over and over again. They're actually pushing towards Ermor through the bottleneck. Let us see. It's a close match. We got some white centaurs, normal centaurs. I think actually no, this is completely one-sided. I thought Ermor had more on the field. It's kind of hard to judge when like half their units are like they blend into the snow. I thought Ermor had more units. I was just assuming, but it did not have enough to hold. And I guess there's a spy in this territory, so we can see what they're doing. Now, see, this is an assault force. Like, why didn't the Minotaur Mage wait? The Minotaur Mage just went straight like ham and went in before the backup actually arrived with the main ads. And I wanted to check the main ad stats. Okay, so, I mean, I don't know. I never really used these people because they don't have a lot of good stats. Wall has been breached. Next turn, they're gonna siege. But even despite that, look, they're holding strong. I mean, they've lost a lot of Dominion. Don't get me wrong, but like they still have a lot of Dominion left. I obviously gonna say that Pangaea has overtaken Ermor at this point. I'm not gonna check because I don't want to have that spoiled, but I would be willing to bet that Pangaea has more Dominion at this point. So if the neutrals take me out, I think Pangaea is gonna win, which I won't be too upset about. That would mean that Ermor is taken out of the tournament, and it proves to me that I don't have to change Osiris' stats. Though I might, you know, in Season 2, change some gods up just to have some new blood. Not to say that I actually didn't want to see this fight. Not to say that I would delete the gods. I would always have them. They're part of the list of choices, but just have the option to choose some new blood every now and then. We've already seen this like outcome, so we don't need to see it again. So let's check the map. It's been painted green. It was painted purple, green and purple. Thanks, Doc. But like, it's a lost cause for Ermor at this point. They don't have the territories. They didn't have the territories for the last, how many game years? Maybe the last year. They didn't have the territories to support their undead growth. They gave up their chance to win here, and we have an assault on the fortress. They're attacking the cavern twice. We're gonna have the werewolf go in again with someone else this time. Werewolves. Oh, whoa, hold up! They have 2 werewolves. Oh man. They might. No. I was gonna say they might have it, but as I've said, wolves are fucking garbage. If you play this game, do not purchase wolves. It's a waste of gold and resources. I don't know how much they cost. We can check. They cost obviously more resources than gold, but they're a waste. They're a fucking waste. Don't spend your money on them. If it's the only thing you can afford, don't spend your money on them. It's a waste. Just buy something else that's more expensive. Maybe it's less efficient, but that's impossible. It's fucking impossible to be less efficient than fucking wolves that die in one hit. Sure, if you have enough of them, you can kill some other fodder units. But look, they broke, and now they're gonna cause massive demoralization for this defending force. Maybe this defending force would have been able to hold if it wasn't fucking wolves in it. If it was the same resource cost of maybe, I don't know, like shitty militia? Shitty militia are better than fucking wolves. Though Ermor just fucked up hardcore. They fucked up hardcore. Their censor, their battle, their lord decided to go fucking ham and start attacking the main forces. They gave that up. They gave up that assault. Ermor keeps throwing and potatoing turn after fucking turn. Now this is the fortress assault of Duana. Kind of happy we're getting a fortress assault. And it seems like, I don't know, it's about even on, like, sure, these units are lesser valued than a lot of these centaurs, but we do have a bottleneck, and we do have these towers that are going to be doing constant damage and have the possibility of straight up killing lords, causing the entire set of troops attached to them to flee. So you never know what might happen here. I'm going to actually hit, what is it? Is it G? No, that's grid. Oh, I hit pause. Okay, that's not the right button. What is the button? To just, like, not display the ground. I already forgot. I want to press Q, but that's quit. Okay, no, it's W. Okay, that's why I wanted to press Q, is because I was right next to it. So now we can actually see what's going on here. I think Ermor is going to hold. I honestly think they're going to hold. The amount of fodder that Ermor is putting through this tiny gate every turn, and the fucking long dead legionnaires are no slouch on defending. Yep. But keep in mind, that's one of the stronger provinces that Ermor has left, so it's good if you're an Ermor fan that we're able to hold. You don't need to watch the rest of it. But they're still sieging the fort, so it's still happening here. And also this fortress is now being sieged as well. Pangaea doing anything interesting that we haven't seen? Oh, but there's a lot of starving going on. How many territories does Ermor have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They only have 6 territories. Well, 7 territories, I guess. They're in a very bad position here. Very bad position. Okay, an assault by Pangaea. They're actually being incredibly aggressive here. Despite not having a whole lot of forces, but they can definitely take this territory. Unless, of course, Pangaea decides to throw like Ermor did in that last fight by moving their melee commander up to fucking die. That's my main, like, issue. I mean, it's not really an issue, but, like, it kind of sucks that you can't really have your commanders fight on the front line. You always have to put them behind your troops. Like, even if, like, cause, like, you get these, like, magical items and stuff, which is really cool to, like, kit your guys out with, like magical artifacts. You can get some really cool ones. But you're putting yourself into such a fucking disadvantage when you're doing that. Like, sure, I mean, you could put him without any units around him, and he's just like a lone commander, so if he dies, it's not that big of a deal, but you would lose the gear. But, it's like the commanding units don't have enough HP. Like, I mean, it gets like more realistic, like HP values. Like, they're not like super strong. They're not like 3 times the health of like the unit they're based on. But it kind of sucks though that you can't just like go ham. Like, these neutrals are going down. The 2 centaurs are gonna kill like majority of those like priest dudes. All right, let's take a look at fucking Pangaea's dominance here. I'm not sure if they can take this fort though with this force. They would need to move in some reinforcements. I don't know why this dude with the largest force that is probably the one that's starving. That's a fuck ton of wolves in the home province. I mean, I guess there's not that many wolves, but that reminds me. You gotta find a province that has, like, recruitable wolves. I think most of those wolves are actually coming from spells, and they actually got the Shambler Reef guy again. So they could go into the water if they decide to. I mean, I guess you can make the defense that, oh, if they're summoning wolves through magic spells, like they're using the one to get the werewolves, so the werewolves are also coming with the wolves themselves. I guess that matters. But no, the werewolf commander isn't that great, and it's not like you could be using your gems to get better summons. So once again, it's still a fucking waste. It's even more of a waste because you're using a more scarce resource. Magic gems are more scarce than gold and production. There's no way around it. So it's not worth it to be summoning fucking wolves. Oh, and then this commander's gonna get killed. Well, at least, you know, Ermor is not the only faction that decides to just completely throw. Though I guess they have a Black Harpy commander that a lot of this force is attached to. So maybe that wasn't a commanding unit, maybe that was just one of the hoplites. It's kind of hard to tell, unless you obviously hover over them. The Pangaea still lost, so maybe that was just a normal centaur. I just made the assumption because it was the only one I saw in the field. Pangaea is like right next to Ermor at this point. I don't think they can hold this assault though, because Ermor's main fortresses are in Ermor, and I think they have like 200 at least, maybe 300 undead there. And they don't have the sacred troops to counter the undead, and that's their main issue. That's the reason why they're struggling to take Dwana, or however you pronounce it. I felt like I sounded really autistic. I know I'm already autistic, but it sounded like really autistic saying Dwana. Or Arnold, I guess, to some degree. They hired some Amazon forces. Why don't they have sacred units here? They already caused the satyrs to break. Minotaur Lord's down. And they're never taking this province. That's unfortunate. But it's unfortunate for Ermor because they're going to take some attrition damage, if not lose a province. Hey, it's the undead lizard people! I don't know. Sure, Ermor has more troops as it is right now, but we have summoned undead from 2 different necromancers. Let's put it on fast forward instead of turbo and see what happens. My money's on the independents, despite them having less starting forces. And it looks like the independents are gonna take this. Like, sure, they're like the humans are breaking, but the undead is just gonna keep mopping up. Yeah! I mean, as I said, Ermor was my favorite to win this entire thing, and once again, I am proven wrong. But, you know, there's something fucking amazing to see such a strong nation start to falter here. They don't even have enough commanders to field all these units. I mean, I suppose they could start putting units into Osiris. And I don't know why they haven't yet. Maybe they're not expecting an assault, but at this point, they only have 2 territories that aren't being sieged other than the main province. They have a treasury of 0, an income of 0. This has gotta be the death knells, pun intended, of the Kingdom of Ermor. Though, you know, they might have more dominion. They have a surprising amount of dominion despite having only 4 or 5 territories. I think they have 5 total. A ridiculous amount of dominion for what they have. This is entirely based on luck. If this centaur dies, it's a game over for this assault on Pangaea. But they do have these archers that could be doing some serious damage. But they see this sensor right here. This is what I was talking about. If he gets targeted in the next turn or 2, Pangaea wins. But they weren't able to have the luck to target. If that sensor died, it would have gone the way of Ermor. feel bad for the undead. But at the same time, I don't. They were winning this. They could have won. They potatoed turn after turn after turn after turn, and then they just fucking lost. Because they potatoed so hard. And Pangaea is kind of potatoing on this assault on Dwana. I mean, they're not going to be able to take it. Like, I'm half tempted to quit out of this so that we don't have to watch it and just see the outcome. Because there's no way they take this. Zaders are already... They need fucking their priests! Why aren't they building sacred priest units? And their Minotaur Lord's dead. And that's it. I gotta give it to the undead forces defending this like tier 1 castle. And they were able to defend against the independents there. So at this point, Ermor's only got... I mean, I guess they do still have those 5 territories. They had 6 last time. I don't know. No, it was... I hit the wrong button! Fam, I did it again. I did it again, fam. I hit exit. Oh my god. The professional quality of this is just amazing. Let me hope I can get like the size of the window just right here. And hopefully OBS updates. Looks right. Almost right. I gotta change it to be a little bit wider. Host shouldn't be just so close to exit. It's the second time I've done that. Alright, Ermor is making an assault into the water territories, which is exactly what they need to be doing here. I'm having a mini panic attack. I have to check OBS to make sure that I am not dropping frames, because it is still like over 100 degrees. And it's 2:40 in the morning in this hot summer Arizona desert. I'm not surprised they were able to take it, but like this is such an attrition force. I'm willing to bet that these 2 territories that are assaulted by Pangaea are taken by Pangaea, unless one of those is Dwana. They're not taking Dwana. And I guess this is a good litmus test to see if my new formula works out. If one faction can get almost, if not, I mean, they're not going to get a domination victory before they get a Dominion one. And fucking Dwana is being attacked. Maybe they reinforced it. They did not reinforce it. Like, Ermor is doing more damage per turn than Pangaea here. But anyway, this is a good litmus test to see that, yes, you indeed can get to a point where you almost get a domination victory with me being not allied to either faction. It's just RNG, and I believe that that's what makes the series great, is the RNG. The RNG of the AI making decisions, the RNG of events, the RNG of if I can get killed by independents or by faction. I believe, I don't know, it like keeps things fresh. Like, I valued Ermor so high, and they did have the potential to win. They honestly did. And they might... No, there's no way they do at this point. They don't have enough Dominion on the field. Pangaea is going to be, like, rocking the Dominion here. They could have won if neutrals took me out at one point in the game. Like for, like, a solid... Pretty much the first, like, 2.5 years or 2 years of the game. They could have won if the independents took me out. I mean, we already seen this, so we don't need to watch it. I keep forgetting that we're gonna get the same turns. I must be getting tired. Ermor is moving in, using their aquatic units, and they will take this. There's a Mound King right here, though. So if one of these arrows hits this Mound King, that Mound King's gonna go down. And they look. Whoa, who would have guessed a sacred unit with the ability to cast banishment would actually cause maybe a potential defense here? Oh, and look, it worked! Oh, who would have guessed? Pangaea could easily win this if they just fielded more priests. They could have ended it by now. But they're not fielding priests. That's the main issue. They have they actually have a white Minotaur. That's cool. Pretty sure you only get those by like actually a summon spell or something. I don't actually know what causes them to get here, but they're pretty strong. They have the inspirational buff and they're priests. They're not gonna actually field them. They're just gonna have them on defense with all their fucking wolves. I think Ermor's beyond screwed. Like, this game probably is gonna end at any moment due to the Dominion victory. And we're gonna have another potato fight. Dwaana. Though we got some giant mantids here. What is their special here? It just does magic damage, and that's kind of cool. I didn't know that the giant mantises have like the magic damage thing, but it's gonna mean nothing if they get stuck behind enemy units. They're fucking weak as shit. Though the centaurs were able to be faster than the horsemen. The horseman AI just like went straight up against the wall. I don't know if Pangaea is gonna be able to take this, but with their centaurs in the actual fray here, and being able to get a pseudo surround against the long dead legionnaires, it's the best chance of doing it. They actually do have someone casting banishment. That's actually going to be the reason they win, I would say, if they win. A lot of their forces are breaking out here. They have been routed. But that was the most damage Pangaea has ever done, and I give it up to the centaurs getting in there and actually having a priest. You know, priests are really good against Ermor, computer. All right, let me see if I can see how many units. I know you don't have any units on this front line, so I can't tell. But I'm pretty sure this siege against the Cavern of Tog, whenever that happens, is gonna go Pangaea's way. They have enough units here, and they're actually moving forward with Churn. Churn's moving forward. Churn's getting impatient. He wants this. He wants his throne. He wants to be put into the upper bracket finals against. I already forgot who won. Was it Asphodel won? I think Asphodel won. So it's gonna be Pangaea versus Asphodel. Is that really the case? I hope I'm not wrong. But if that is indeed the case, this is what I was talking about. We have like a kind of canon kind of match here where we have we have freaking Greek myth of Asphodel versus the Greek myth of Pangaea. Just one of them is more undead than the other. That's really fucking cool. But I'm happy either way. Seeing these four factions in the semifinals like warms the cockles of my my really dark, cold heart, because all of these four factions are factions that I indeed play. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what's coming into play here. Maybe it's the fact that we already know that Pangaea doesn't take this, because we already saw on the map. But maybe it's because I have played these factions that I know how to make decent gods. I honestly tried to make the best god I possibly could, or one of the best for certain situations or certain routes for the A to go for each faction. I didn't try to make ones intentionally bad. I tried to even nerf Osiris by only giving him like a 3 or a 4 on Dominion growth. Because I didn't want him to be so strong, because I already knew how strong the faction of Ermor was. They haven't been able to siege this yet. And where did Churn go? Churn decided to just not go attack Ermor and just decided to go the long way to get the flank. I don't know what that's all about. Oh, okay, so we have 2 fortress battles going on here. Let's see the one that I honestly think they're gonna have a chance of taking. Yeah, there's no reason why they shouldn't take this. I don't even think we need to put on the see-through walls thing, because there's no way they don't win this. There's not a lot of forces here to contest this entrance. And no forces here. It's instantly dead. All right, so let's see. I mean, they did some serious attrition damage. Both sides have been attrition to like fucking hell and back, but there's no priest. I don't know. I don't think Pangaea can take this. Though they're gonna cause a lot of damage, but they're gonna be routed. Is the main issue. Like those satyrs are gonna be dead and routed now. Yeah, and the centaurs actually routed before the satyrs. What are you? This is just some very strange calls here. Very strange calls. All right, so they got the caverns of Tog. And Ermor actually starting to take some underwater territories, though we don't need to necessarily watch them take neutrals here. I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't take the neutrals, so we're gonna move on to the next battle, next turn. We have a pretty active turn here. Oh, so he caused a world event. Osiris, Lord of Pestilence, Lord of Fever, Bringer of Discord, has committed the act of ultimate evil against the world of the living by putting the burden of time upon the world. As long as this enchantment is active, every living being will grow old and die in a few years' time. This spell must be dispelled at once, or you can only hope to become a god of a world devoid of living beings. That's pretty cool. I didn't actually think they were going to be able to do it, and Ermor actually took a province here. Though it's not enough. I honestly don't think it's enough. Like, look at these forces. This counterattack is going to be fucking insane. Though I believe that Churn... Where did he go? I guess he moved and then decided to stay there. I just don't know why he's not moving out. Like, they could easily end. They're starting to potato like Ermor here. But a few years' time for all units to die old, I mean... Don't get me wrong, it's very powerful, but this game is gonna end at any moment. There's the counterattack. Oh, we have flagellants here. How do these flagellants come in? Is this like a mercenary group that I haven't seen? But Churn's on the field with all his fucking animals, but he actually low rolled on a lot of those. Oh, look at all those wolves you summoned, Churninos. Look how much work they're doing. It's not like you lost like already half of them and the fucking... Oh, you gonna die, Churn? You better hope you get a front line here. I mean, he's got a lot of health because of his Dominion, and he's got regeneration or something, because he just got 21 health back. 10% regeneration, so he's got 210 base health in this zone. So regeneration is actually a really powerful effect for anything with a lot of HP. I guess if they're surrounded, they'll still die incredibly quick. This is not going to be successful. Why do you keep doing this to yourselves? They have a priest, though. Okay, cast the other move, not blessing. No, he's too busy casting spells. It's over. It's over. If only he cast, you know, the good spells against undead instead of just trying to buff. Oh, 22 units are suffering because of their old age. I mean, this is gonna counter. I mean, it's faster than I thought. I thought it would be a little bit slower because it said years time. Maybe it's like ramped up higher. So this is the onus on Pangaea to push out. 22 units a turn are like dying because of this. I mean, Pangaea can probably reinforce at least half of those, like in their provinces. Like some will be neutrals because they don't have a whole lot of forts and castles. I mean, they have the money. Actually, I don't know how much money they have, but they have to have ridiculous amounts of money. It's over, dude. It's gotta be over. It's gotta be over soon. I think Ermor has only got like 2 provinces that aren't being under siege. Oh my god. Did they get reinforcements? Like, man, you gotta give it to Ermor, though, man. They're holding out like a motherfucker. Cast the good spells! Not just these fucking Eagle Eyes, Blessing, Gift of the Hair. Is the next one gonna be Banishment? No, he's gonna cast Gift of the Hair on all of his units and then not do anything. That's disappointing. Okay, so now they have 4 territories that aren't under siege, barring their main province. And I just realized we watched the same fight twice. Keep forgetting. We watched the same fight twice. We watched the same 2 fights over again. You can definitely tell I'm getting tired. That's why he casts the same fucking spells in the same order. Cast Teal, great. Cast Banishment. Come on! Holy shit. You just need to cast Banishment like twice. That's all you gotta do. Nope, too busy buffing speed. There we go. Come on, it's too late though. You're gonna get routed. I mean, though, it's causing some damage, but I mean, you don't have control over your units in a match, so maybe he just has them set on set spells, which, I mean, you know, kind of sucks. Don't get me wrong. However, like, you can have it, like, if the AI was smart, they would have him set to cast, like, Banishment or something on turn 1. You don't need to see Ermor's turns. We're just going to look at Pangaea's turns. Pangaea's on the offensive in 2 territories. I think they're going to... No way they don't take this. Though Churn is not in this force yet. He's going to have to move through the complete... He's got to go completely around. Maybe they're not taking this, actually. I don't know. This is going to be close. Morale has got to be really, really fucking low for Pangaea now. Though the more guys that get Berserk, the more of a chance they're going to cause permanent damage here. That they could just send a lesser force to clean up. They do have a white centaur here. That might be enough. Where's the Mound King? He's in the back. And they're routed. Unfortunately for Pangaea, they were not able to take one of the last remaining land provinces that are not currently under siege. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. I'm not gonna even look. They took it. Oh, because they got reinforced. So what's my luck, right? Like, when I decide not to look is when they actually take the province. It's because of the Minotaurs. I mean, obviously because both sides have been attrition extremely. But like the reinforcements are going to be the deciding factor. But the Minotaurs themselves probably would have done a whole lot of work in the original assault if they had that many. Just simply because they can push through. They can force their way through because of the trample. Churn is actually starting to make his move. Feel like we got to be getting close to the end. Oh, they got a Black Bull. Oh, there's a counterattack. And they're actually gonna hold. They're gonna take it. They got some swordsmen here. Yeah, we don't need to watch it. They obviously take it, or rather, they start a siege. But is it gonna be enough? Is it gonna hold 3 turns? I don't think so. Maybe it might hold 3 turns. It's a very small assaulting force, but I don't know. Actually, they're breaking it right now. Very odd set of units here. Stone Skin was cast on these guys, I assume. You gotta hope that it was cast on those guys. They lost. They already lost. Yeah, you can't. The fucking swordsman, man. They look so like bland and blah, but they're really fucking strong. Like, really fucking strong, man. This fucking swordsman. I'm still blown away that I haven't been taken out yet. Yeah, I think the castle's gonna hold. That's such a small force. I can't see how Ermor busts through. There's another counter assault in Tog. Oh, Ermor is on the offensive. They've probably taken this as well. Though their commander's right here. Oh, that could have gone either way. 19. If he got hit one more time by that centaur, Ermor would have been the ones that routed. Let's see if they break it. Oh, they do. They're gonna break it. They got the Minotaurs in here. And I think they're gonna take the other territory now. I know we're not looking at the other battle just yet, but I figured that Pangaea was just gonna straight up take it. Ermor doesn't have really any forces left on the map. I think they have more income now, so they can afford some mercenaries or something, because they were able to field neutrals. So we're gonna look up here. Yeah, they have an actual income and their upkeep is less. So they can actually afford what they have, and they're starting to build up the treasury. But it's too little, too late. Sure, like they're losing Pangaea's losing units every turn at this point due to the old age thing. So the attrition's really starting to hit them. They're making really dumb attacks at this point too. Why make such a stupid assault? Like, they can tell how many units are in an enemy province, and yet they still make an assault like that. Like, desperation is definitely rife here. Let's look at the score graphs. Oh my god, look how many units you guys have. It's fucking insane. Why can't you just fucking pull out a victory? Let's see, that's 100, 200, 300, 400. They have to get to here to win with Dominion, so maybe I need to change the victory condition to like 400 Dominion instead of 450, seeing as how my own Dominion now doesn't factor into this as an additional to one side, and I'm gonna always have at least like 50 or something like that until I get taken out. Ermor's starting to make a comeback. If we have a game where it's flip-flopped, like not once but twice, that would be incredibly shocking, because I've already talked about how this is like a guaranteed win for Pangaea at this point. But Ermor might be able to do it because all of these territories are completely really undefended. Like, it's gonna take them, but at the same time, the main forces of Pangaea are starting to move up. I don't know who wins this. I mean, I guess the Centaur wins this. They need to fucking move! What is this? Like, I don't know why the AI does this. Like, it's just like, oh, I need to have a defensive force. There's an enemy at my borders that I'm not gonna assault. But it clearly doesn't have any other territories. Why not just push? For fuck's sake. Doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Thank you. The Minotaur forces are gonna be pushing out towards Ermor. They have them in line formation, which is actually really good for tramplers. Though they're really slow, though. They're gonna lose these centaurs, and it's gonna be massive morale loss. These satyrs too. So they probably only have like a few minotaurs to lose before the minotaurs break. Though that trample, oh fucking Jesus! What a fucking massacre! The large force that's been making a move. That's one of the large forces, though it's not the largest. And they take this because they can't afford defenses really at this point. So yeah, these are going to be long gone, and I think this province is going to be long gone. That'll leave Ermor pretty much with like nothing to help them. Oh, and it's gone. This is the end of the game. We made it, fam. Something happened to my god. I must have lost my territory to something. We're gonna have to check it out after we watch these final 2 assaults by Pangaea. But Pangaea has been winning this for the last 2, maybe 2.5 game years. Like it was to the point where they had more than enough Dominion. I know I kind of spoiled it by looking at the Dominion graphs. I told myself that I shouldn't be doing that to keep it a surprise. But at this point, you guys had to have at least assumed that Pangaea was winning with the Dominion. And as predicted, both of those 2 provinces were taken by these 2 bordering forces. Or, I mean, we're assuming it's being taken, but I don't see why they don't take out these simple archers. They might even kill the commander before the archers rout. And they did. Complete another domination by the mythical forces of Pangaea. End turn. Let's go see what happens. Stale turn. I guess I just died. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's what happens. It's like 2, I don't know. Maybe I just die at a certain point, which is kind of cool. If I get enough stale turns, it just ends the game. So it keeps turns. I don't really know what happened because I didn't see anything happening there. I just died of old age, maybe. Maybe my god, yeah, maybe. I don't know if pretender gods can die of old age. Maybe they can. That's fucking crazy if they can. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll say that Burden of Time won it. I don't know, but the game decided that it was ending, and just to verify, Pangaea has won. Pangaea has won. They have moved on, everyone, to the upper bracket finals. They have defeated the god that I think thought that wasn't going to be able to be defeated. They are moving on. Turnunos is doing it. He's going to be facing Lyduk, I believe, Asphodel. I already forgot who won the first round. I don't think Man won. I don't think they won. So here we go, fam. We did it. I hope you guys enjoyed these 2 semifinal matches. The next one is the big one. I'll catch you guys next time.